Welcome to Spirit House Center for Attitudinal Healing with founders and caretakers Ron Nadeau and Toni Birnbaum, offering us a live uncensored interview to pose a question: what is Spirit House?
Uncensored.
Uncensored.
Okay, here we go.
That means no four-letter words.
Yeah, what is Spirit House? Well, what is Spirit House Center for Attitudinal Healing? So
Yes.
maybe a good place to just to begin with what's coming to mind is what is attitudinal healing? And attitudinal healing is a lot. It's a lot of things. It's actually something, it's a phrase that Gerald Jampolsky started many, many years ago, and with the first Center for Attitudinal Healing in Sausalito, in California, Tiburon, actually, and then moved to Sausalito. And it's basically about the discovery of the essential self. And so, without going into a big elaboration about attitudinal healing, I'll just let it go at that. And that is what we've been involved with here is working with our community, and we're interested in sustainable community here, in the discovery of the essential self, remembering the truth of who we are, the essence of who we are, which is love. And so this little project began, about 15 years ago. I had just come out of a really powerful stage 4 cancer journey and had a vision and started digging a hole in our backyard. And everybody thought I had way too much chemo, way too much radiation. But I actually had an idea behind that. Toni and I got together and I explained what was going on, and that I was building a center, a place where people could gather and explore, investigate the essence of our own being. What is this life? What is my life? Each and every one of us. And why are we here? Who am I? What is my nature? Things of this. So that's where it started. And so we've been operating for 14 years.
501c3.
Yeah, 501c3 nonprofit, charitable organization. Why don't you go ahead and speak to this, Toni?
Well, I think you really spoke to the essence of it. The question, what is Spirit House? It's like, well, it depends on where you want to enter in, On the outside level, Spirit House is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We're dedicated to community, to bringing community together in ways that we can support and express that essential self and learn more about it. So we wanted to offer and open a center where people could come and be who they were, feel safe here, be in the truth of their beliefs, whatever they may be, even though they may differ, but be in agreement that there's a path that can take us deeper into the very essence. And in that place, the realization is that, of course, we are the same. So that's what Spirit House is on that level. I like to think of Spirit House also metaphorically as it's a place within each one of us that houses our spirit. And, the actual structure of Spirit House, for those of you that haven't been here, it's underground. And so it has earthen walls. And we like to say that we're in the womb of the mother when we gather there and do ceremony there or have community events that range from music to speakers to all kinds of presentations, really designed to elevate and help us evolve our true nature. So actually, our true nature doesn't need evolution. It just needs to be recognized.
Seen.
Yeah, thank you. So So I think that that's, just to complete that thought, the spirit house represents that place deep within ourself. That is our earth, our ground, and where we give birth then to the remembering of the truth of who we are. So.
Yeah, we have a motto and the motto is return to the memory of wholeness. So when people enter into Spirit House, drop down into the ground, I mean, it's very metaphorical for, going inward, taking the inward path, taking the time to walk out of the world and go down into a sacred chamber. And remember, bring the pieces back together that have been fragmented, that have been seemingly separated, and bring attention to that inward path, the inward dwelling state. So that's one structure, and that's a ceremonial structure. And as Toni said, there's a lot that takes place in that structure. Everything from memorial services to celebrations, to the celebration of the solstice and the equinox and weddings, and we've had so many different sacred ceremonies there. Women's gatherings, men's gatherings. It's all across the board. Whatever the reason for people to come together and explore something below the surface of consciousness as we understand it in our waking reality, and to go deeper within. Then we have another structure, and it's an above ground yurt. It's a 30-foot diameter yurt, and in that space we have weekly workshops. The very first thing that we started with were two groups. We started with A Course in Miracles, which is a wonderful deep study, and we ran that group for 7 years or so. And then also another group that was something I felt was absolutely essential for my own healing, having come out of a stage 4 cancer, and that was a life-threatening illness group. And that was a very powerful group.
That was in collaboration with the Cancer Resource
Center in Mendocino. And so that was, people at large in the community, people who were coming through the Mendocino Center to us, and that was a support group. That was an incredible, amazing group. And of course, there were many people that came who died. And so we were privy to being part of the deepest investigation of life as we know it, and life as we suspect it to be. So that was a wonderful opportunity, and we work with the idea that that the greatest healing power in the world is love. That's essentially what we work with, and that health is, we define health as an inner state of peace within ourselves.
Letting go of fearful beliefs.
Yeah, well, and that's healing. So the healing aspect is letting go of painful beliefs and fears that we carry. So health, the healthy state is a state of inner peace. Now that may be a particular state that one comes to when they're dying as well. We love to have it when we're living, but sometimes just leading people up to that door, that crossover place, to be able to release and let go, to die before you die, to let go of fears, to let go of everything that is unforgiven in one's life. This requires work, and to come to that place of recognition that my essence is that of peace, is that of happiness, no matter what my physical state is in, is absolutely essential. That's an essential work here. And of course, we celebrate life in all the forms that we do, with music and concerts and spiritual texts and studies that we're involved with and have been involved with for the last 14 years, I guess going on almost 15 years. So, yeah, that's, Spirit House is really about sustainable community. And how do we need to be? It's not so much about what we have to do. Doing is a natural extension that comes out of a healthy state of right relationship with the truth of who we are, from the place of peace, the place of happiness, and then comes the doing, and that's real. That's not just theoretical, but that's how we like to work it. And one of the things we say comes out of the Course in Miracles is that the ego makes, but spirit creates. So Spirit House Center for Attitudinal Healing is about a state of being, and being in right relationship with the essence of our own being, which is the same essence as everyone else.
Yeah. And out of that, a co-creative relationship with all that is. That's where you get guidance from within about the doing. It's not a conditioned, expected response that has been programmed from our society or our family, what we're supposed to be doing. This allows people, hopefully, when there's more opportunity and more support, to abide in that essence of who we are, in that quiet space. We can hear, we get that guidance, and then we start to live from a different point of view, and that's life-changing, and that's healing for many, many people. So, yeah,
beautiful.
And not only abiding in that place, but cultivating that presence within ourselves, because that's not something that's just that just happens overnight. We talk about insights, we talk about realizations, we talk about freedom and liberation, and we have these moments when there's a flash of insight, and oftentimes we think, wow, my life has changed now forever. But what we found, with our own experience and with working with people, is it's not an overnight process. Oftentimes people think that they can go to a weekend workshop, or they can go to a weekend medicine circle and have some amazing insight, and now they're fixed, now they're healed, only to find that there's a much larger process of integration that has to take place, that quality that the insight has revealed has to be cultivated, because it has to burst through the crust of conditioning that we've all been subjected to as a result of what's been passed down through family lineage, what is being lived in the cultural context, the milieu of religion as well, and identity. It's like having a self-identity. There's a lot of pressure there, and for that one beautiful seed to actually be nurtured and break through that crust has to be dissolved in some way, and that dissolving process takes a little bit of time. And so that's the deconditioning, and it's cultivated by the nurturing of, and we like to say now, we like to say, the heart, because enough people have already realized that there's a difference between the head, the brain mind, and the heart. We say, let's move to the heart and let the heart speak to the mind, but there's something beyond that, and that's the cultivation of heart mind together as one, not two separate things. but seeing it as one. And that's the right relationship. It's not the relationship between two things, it's a relationship with the one thing. And so that's a non-dual, it's a non-dual ground, not a dualistic ground.
Beautiful.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know,
I think that, I mean,
It sounds
is
beautiful.
that enough?
It sounds great. Yeah, where do I sign up?
you know, there's only one last thing I do want to say that comes up, you know, when Ron speaks about the crust, breaking through the crust, it takes vigilance and cultivation, and all this is true. But I think what is happening right now with COVID, with politics, with the racist issue,
Mm-hmm.
is that the crust is being shaken up and down to the core, right, of all the conditioning that you know we've layered upon ourselves in terms of identifying who we are. And now, you know, I would say that in the past it would take some real conscious work to be able to take off those layers. But I think we're in a very potent time right now. I think those layers are being forced off us, whether we like that or not. And so this, I think, is really the time that someplace like Spirit House or many, 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 many organizations that are dedicated to the awakening and the creation of the new world and what it really means for the human to evolve from this place of the heart. I think now more than ever, centers and organizations and places where people can explore the full spectrum of feelings that are happening now during this shattering. Really, I think everything from incredible elation of hope and opportunity and possibility to the other side of the spectrum of immense anger and despair and horror of what's going on. So, you know, Ron spoke of the non-dual, that, you know, we're in a place right now where the polarities are being hugely explored. And so anything that's going to help people hold the midline and be able to expand and truly open to both sides here, because this is part of the teaching we talk about here at Spirit House, is to embrace all things. So we're in a time right now that we're getting out of a lot of denial, and it's a difficult road for many of us. So in the ability then to stand together, we're stronger to embrace all things and to be able to support each other in this process and to be vigilant and honest and vulnerable while we develop a strength that's rooted in something that is much stronger that many of us have ever rooted ourselves in before.
And transparent.
Yeah. Because in that transparency, the playing ground is leveled and we get to see each other as equals and as all, you know, for lack of better expression, all children of God, children of the cosmos, of the universe, that we are all this one humanity here together. Now, what do we want to do with this precious life? So.
Yeah, only thing I would like to add to that is in that crust, you know, is what's happening right now is there's something breaking through that crust. It's not just the plant that I was talking about. It's not just that, you know, that seed that's germinated from the essence of being that is really hungry for the light. But, you know, we've got a volcanic eruption going, and one that is needed. We need that core lava essence to come out. And that's what builds islands in the middle of the ocean. That's what builds new land. And this is an opportunity now to build new land, new ground, find new ground within ourselves, find equal ground, common ground. And this is an essential time. This is an important time. It's a time of unmasking and a time to dissolve that crust and everything that supports that crust. The crusty old system that we've been living under, the patriarchal system that we've been living under. All the ways in which separation or segregation or the devaluation of anything. There needs to be. This is a time of healing. I mean, we like to say that every day is an opportunity for ceremony. And what is ceremony, really? It's about opening to receive, opening to clean out, to clear out, an opening to join. And ceremony is about joining with a true essence within. So this, that's a little bit about Spirit House and
a little bit and more.
What we're doing. Plus, I get an opportunity to be with this amazing woman and to be with you, Paloma, and
thank you, Paloma.
all the people that come to Spirit House.
Yeah, thank you, Ron, for your vision, your download.
So I have another question. Since the organization of Center for Attitudinal Healing pre-existed, what drew you to that organization to continue to represent it and bring it into this organization here of Spirit House?
What first attracted me to the Center for Attitudinal Healing that Gerald Jampolsky had started was reading the Course in Miracles. And I had a small business that was a consulting business for other business organizations and corporations. And I had an amazing experience of give talks. And every once in a while, someone would come up to me and say, "Oh, you're getting some of your material from the Course in Miracles, aren't you?" And after this happened a few times, and I found out that it was actually a book, as I went out looking for the book. And I found the book, and I started reading the book. And it was just so incredibly profound that I wanted to track it down. Who started this? How did this start? Where did this come from? And so all the passages that I was following led me to Gerald Jampolsky and the Center for Attitudinal Healing that was in Tiburon at that time. And then there were a series of events that occurred that really compelled me to explore deeper. And then I attended the very first facilitators workshop that was hosted at Santa Sabina in Santa Fe, yeah. I was thinking Marin County, yeah, Santa Fe, at the Dominican College. And and then I was off and running, with that. And I took it into my business practice. I took it into the corporate realm, and to the degree that I could, and to talk about the essence of an individual and the importance of being together, working as a group of people and finding alignment and harmony and real purpose. And what was the purpose of an organization? What was the purpose of a corporation? It certainly had to be something more than just making money. And how are we in right relationship with one another, and at the same time be able to support ourselves and to support our mission and our cause. And so it was through that work and through that discovery and the deeper investigation with attitudinal healing principles that I started at. And then we have this wonderful little card that has 12 principles of attitudinal healing. And these 12 principles are very, very powerful. And the first one is that the essence of our being is love. And that's just number one. But it's a great place to start.
And I'll just also add that the Center for Attitudinal Healing had such a great structure. All right, it's like the 12 principles were already there, you know. And so when we came in under their umbrella, I had also done the facilitators training. The groups that are done under the Attitudinal Healing umbrella they're leaderless groups. You know, one of the principles is we're all students and teachers for each other. And so it was an organization that didn't really have a hierarchy, that wasn't promoting any of that it didn't matter how you found us, all you knew was that you needed an attitude adjustment. You know, something was going on. So it didn't matter what your religion, your class, your color, your creed, what you believed, none of that. And so that had so much appeal for us because that's really where we wanted to start. It's for everyone. We all need to look at our attitudes and see what needs to be healed in that regard. So it was a perfect fit. And then Jerry and Diane blessed and, you know, we're happy that we were going to open up a center in this neck of the woods. And there's centers all over the globe, really, attitudinal healing centers. So we benefited from that liaison. And then we sort of just went off on our own. We're not really on their radar so much anymore.
Well, the blessing actually came, you know, I don't know, several years after we had already started, because in the Center for Attitudinal Healing, you know, was one organization. And then there were many people who started other organizations. They were all ad hoc organizations, independent organizations, all a little bit different, all approaching life from a different avenue. There was no approval. There was no hierarchy, as Toni was saying, that said, "Oh, you have to do it this way or you have to do it that way." We're just all friends and people. There are different attitudinal healing centers around the globe. Each and every one of them are completely different in many, many ways, but very much the same in the sense that these 12 principles are principles that are woven into the structure. And we're kind of loosely affiliated, but firmly affiliated by the heart and soul. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, thank you. Yeah. Blessing to be here with you too.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So well said. Okay.
Okay,
You feel complete?
I think so. Yeah. It was
Yeah,
longer
then
than I thought.
we can spin off.
I
We can
know.
keep on going. I mean, keep the questions coming. We'll keep going.
Okay.